Hey.
Here you go.
Oh, nice. This is called Bianco Lagero, and it wasn't nearly as large a coffee as the cup implies. I only own one type of cup, really.
Gotcha. Well, this is chamomile tea, and it is full. It's a full cup.
Very nice. Very, very nice. We always do the beverage sponsors. Tonight we have a cold beverage, and it's on my windowsill, and it is Canada Dry.
Nice.
That's the perfect place for it.
You know, apparently Canadians invented ginger ale. That's our invention. If memes on the internet are correct.
Well, they always are. Oh, Harrison Kopp, how are you tonight? And Chris Saar, of course, is here. So here's the quick rundown of what's going on. We are awaiting the arrival of Mr. Aaron, who will be joining us for the Van Halen Deep Cuts list. The Meat Man will be joining us at 10 after 7. So until then, I'm just going to kill some time by showing off some cool stuff that I got this week.
All right.
I'm going to start with this here. Do you like guitar picks by any chance?
I do.
Do you like Twisted Sister?
Yes, I do. Wow.
This is a gift from Max the Axe.
Oh, nice.
It's 10 Twisted Sister guitar picks mounted on a little thing. And he just spontaneously gave that to me on Tuesday night. I guess in exchange for a favor, although it wasn't really, I don't consider it a favor, but he dropped this off.
Nice.
And this, of course, is the new Max the Axe punk covers. Well, there's only one cover on here, I believe. I think the other two are originals. Okay. 3 songs, less than 10 minutes. And so I guess I'm going to say Tuesday night this was. Tuesday night, all of Tuesday, Max was at the studio mixing the tracks. And I guess the only way for Meat to get to hear these tracks, the songs that he performed and wrote,
right,
the only way for him to be able to hear the tracks that day would be for Max to drive to my place with a burned CD from the studio, for me to put on my computer, and for me to email to Uncle Meat. Because for those two guys to coordinate that series of things, it's impossible. You have a cousin. Hey, a cousin.
My cousin Brent. Hey, how's it going? We're going to be talking Van Halen. I know he's a huge. No, he's not a huge rock and roll fan. I brought up like a bunch of bands from the '90s to him one time, and he was like, "Oh, that's all old man music." I'm like, "Well, you don't even want to know what I listen to."
Well, I it might be old man music because I am an old man, and I'm not going to call you an old man, but Aaron. Yeah, Meat and I certainly are. But there are lots of younger kids who just think Van Halen's the most wicked thing they've ever heard.
Oh yeah.
I remember when the Van Halen tour came around, the first reunion tour, and some of my Facebook friends who I didn't really think were that much into classic rock went to see them, and they were like, "Oh my God, I just saw the best show I've ever seen in my whole life." So,
yeah,
these are younger people that are more like from the grunge era. I don't know. Hey, Lana's here. Lana from Hawaii.
Very nice.
And Harrison Kopp quoting the great lyrics of Eric Litwiller with "You Gotta."
That's right. All right. So you've listened to the new tracks, right?
Oh, yes, I have, sir. I've listened to them many times because there's only 8 minutes and 35 seconds of them.
And we should be extremely jealous because they are excellent, and we can't wait to get our ears on them.
I was pondering writing something up, but I think I will write something up just as a bit of a teaser into this. But I like it.
Yeah,
I really like it. There's 3 songs. They are called Thirsty and Miserable is the first one, which I believe is a Black Flag cover via Lemmy Kilmister.
Oh.
In the sense, meaning it's a Black Flag cover, but at least in terms of the vocal, Eric was drawing more inspiration from a Lemmy Kilmister version from a solo album he did.
Okay.
Second track is called Pygmy Blow Dart. And I would best describe that as Queens of the Stone Age.
Okay.
And the last song is one that I've been playing like on a loop, but Eric speaks not fondly of it. It's called Oktoberfest Cheer. and it's an Oktoberfest punk song
Okay.
with accordion.
I like this.
Yes. Like this. And the lyrics are really funny, and they're really Kitchener centric. Like he mentions the Twin Cities, and Kitchener knows Oktoberfest cheer. Don't spill my beer. Stuff like that. And it sounds like a drunken mess.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine, because that's what Oktoberfest did. I mean, like, have you ever been here for Oktoberfest?
No, but I've heard of it, and I actually had friends that would travel. This is back when I lived in Sudbury, so Kitchener is about a 6 to 7 hour drive from there, and they would make the pilgrimage to Kitchener in October to celebrate.
My dad, he's a curmudgeon, but he'd always call it like the week from hell, because traffic in town just becomes snarled. You can't get in and out.
Right.
And we would always dread the drives to and from the lake on the Oktoberfest weekends. My dad was very wary of especially impaired driving.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of issues with that because of the nature of the festival.
Right.
But on the other hand, I believe there was one Oktoberfest where I Mother Earth got up and jammed with Walter Ostanek.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Kind of one of those things that if you weren't there to see it, there's no record of it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like there weren't people bootlegging it back then.
Right. I love that. I love, like, I wouldn't say a closeted accordion fan, because I'll just freely admit it. I love that was the stuff that my grandmother listened to. Even though she was Italian, she loved like the polka stuff and all that. And anytime there was a family wedding or whatever, it would just be there would be, it would always be the early section, because it would be for the older people in the crowd. And, but there'd be a section of polka music for at least an hour, and before they move on to the pop and rock stuff.
I had a buddy in high school, Andy Kandick, who I'd love for him to show up one day. He was a big Dio fan, but he also played accordion. And we always joked that one day we would do an album with an accordion metal song.
Yeah.
And,
there's to tie it into Van Halen, there are some fantastic covers of Jump on accordion. If you go to YouTube, check them out, because the accordion, that whole synth sound that Eddie gets, it just fits because it's like the keys that he presses down and the long notes and that, it just fits the accordion so well.
I have a feeling I've heard that before.
You probably have, because they have quite a few hits on YouTube.
Yeah. Videos. I want to show off one more thing that came in the mail this week. I didn't feel like doing an unboxing because I wanted to open it and play it and enjoy it.
Right.
This is my brand new Japanese CD of Kiss, the best of solo albums.
I did see you post that, but it was sealed when you posted it.
I still have all of the Japanese CDs come in a resealable little thing like that. So I kept everything. Interestingly enough, the booklet comes in a separate sleeve. Interestingly enough.
That's that, like, I didn't bring it down, or did I? Yeah, Van Halen Live is like that as well. Yeah, I didn't bring it down. Yeah, it has the cover is a sleeve, and then the booklet goes in behind there, which
Funny
I've never
story.
seen before.
I got a random email on my website 2 weeks ago, I think, and a guy says, "Hey, Mike, I noticed your review of Right Here, Right Now. Is it supposed to have an actual booklet in it with text? Because I bought a copy off Amazon, and it just has a piece of paper in it." And so I said, "Yes, sir, it is supposed to have a booklet." And I got my copy out, and I took a photograph of what the booklet looks like with it's a plain black cover that says "Live Right Here, Right Now."
Yep.
And he's like, "Okay, good. I'm going to complain to the Amazon guy." So good for you. I can't remember your name, whoever you are, but he immediately liked the LeBrain Facebook page. So maybe he's watching. Maybe.
Well, yeah. If you buy that, make sure that it has that booklet. Yes. And I have also seen it out in the wild with just the booklet. Like someone has lost the actual cover, and it's just the Van Halen Right Now plain black cover. That means that someone's lost that and is trying to get one by it.
So pro tip, if you find one like that in the wild, ask the clerk for a discount, because you are getting an incomplete package if you want to buy it at all.
Yeah.
Some people would be happy to buy it for $2-3 off.
Yeah.
One other thing about this Kiss CD I'm going to show you. This is a new format. It is called an MCQ CD.
Okay.
And I don't know if you watch Techmoan on YouTube.
No.
Techmoan is a fantastic YouTube channel. He's a YouTuber out of England called Matt. And he does so many good videos on every format that you can think of and some that you haven't thought of. And MCQ is a relatively new one that came out maybe 2 years ago, and you have to have a special decoder. Otherwise, it's just a CD. When I play it, it's just a CD.
Oh, okay.
But apparently it has additional tracks somehow. They called it folded, like origami.
Okay.
This additional data folded in that only a proper decoder can decode.
Okay. And what is in, like, what's the extra information?
Much better music. He had, and the way that he discovered this was he had an MCQ disc of Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms. And maybe it was a faulty disc, or maybe it was the way that he had his decoder kind of jerry-rigged into a system, which was complex, very complex, much more complex than you would think. But it kept on losing its MCQ signal. So it would go from CD, MCQ, CD, MCQ. And it immediately sounded thin, full, thin, full. The difference between CD and MCQ is astounding. But you and I will never get to hear it. Because I'm telling you, the hoops he had to jump through to get this MCQ thing to play was ridiculous. Alternately, you can buy a CD player that plays MCQ discs, but I think the cheapest one that he found was something like $22,000.
Wow.
So I own an MCQ disc, but I'll never hear the MCQ layer.
So there's no way you can rip that to a hard drive and have like a piece of software play it down?
I think not. But I think also he was trying to make the point of actually playing the disc through his stereo system without having to go through a computer.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he had to go through a computer. But really what he wanted to do was plug it into his component system, hit play in his CD player, and get this MCQ sound, which he couldn't do. He had to do it on his computer setup.
Wow.
It's 7:10. Where's the meat, says Chris. I would say where's the Aaron at this point? I hope Aaron hasn't forgotten.
Yeah. We're going to have to tap dance soon to fill time.
I'm going to text him. Oh, well, there's Uncle Meat Halen.
Oh, there we go.
Uncle Meat Halen.
Hello.
Are you in a bathrobe or something like that?
No, I'm not in a bathrobe.
I'm just texting Aaron to find out where the heck he is.
I'm in a gray t-shirt and some sort of cardigan sweater.
Chris Sarr was saying earlier that he was hoping you would be lying down.
No, I'm not. I'm not lying down today.
He did put this neat little steak icon there, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, there you go.
Relating to what we were saying before, Harrison Kopp's first copy of Best of the Beast was missing disc 2. Oh, wow. And then later he found disc 2 on eBay. That never happens.
No. I still have like half collections of things, thinking that I'd find it later. Still haven't found it.
Meat, were you listening earlier when I was praising the Max the Axe?
Not at all. I didn't hear any of it.
Did you know about the gift that Max gave me?
No.
Twisted Sister guitar picks mounted on a little thing there. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it's very random. Wow.
It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
You just don't know what you're going to get with Maxi Axe, ever.
No, that is true. That is true. Like, for all I know, he could have shown up with a Tupperware container of hollandaise sauce and said, "Here, this is just to say thanks for your support. Here's the thing. I made this hollandaise sauce."
I still say that the greatest thing that's ever going to happen on this stream is when you finally do a one-on-one interview with Mike Max the Axe Kudus.
I am going to, yes, that is going to be funny. I'm going to read a comment here because it gives me something to boast about. Lana, John told me that Def Leppard gave you a shout out on their Collection Volume 2 set because they found some rare tracks on your website.
Yeah.
This is true. This is a true story. I've written about it. You can go on my website. I'm not 100% sure what the name of the article I wrote was, but I can certainly look it up and post it. It's true. They in 2000-ish, 2001, they released 11 tracks officially on their website, and I downloaded them and burned them to a CD. And then 2 decades later, basically, they're looking for these tracks, and they don't have them anymore. The band does not have these tracks anymore. And they got them from me. And yeah, they gave me a special thank you on the inside of the Def Leppard box set, Volume 2, which I'm not going to get up and look for because there's things balancing precariously up there, but I have a vinyl copy up there, and there's a CD copy around here too.
So the band was looking for these tracks, and they were high and dry, and they had to turn to LeBrain, to find them.
On through the night, I searched and searched for these tracks, and Saturday night I found them, and. Anyway,
crazy.
Hi, Mom. We're waiting for Aaron. Should we start? Like, I don't know if we should or not.
Is Aaron coming? I only have maybe 15, 20 minutes ish, something like that.
Yeah, you wanted to hear Derek's list that I'm going to read as well.
Yeah, might as well. Do you know if Aaron is coming or?
He did tell me yesterday that he was coming.
Okay,
but I think if we run through your list and Derek's list.
Okay, well let's run through Derek.
Okay, so Derek, and I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, because when you never speak to somebody face to face, but only through emails, you don't know how to, like Kevin Semister, for example. You don't know how to, Derek.
Again, I wasn't upset.
Derek Kortpeter is how I pronounce it. His last name is spelled Korte Peter. And he's been on the WordPress blogs since I started. He might have been gone before Kevin and I became acquainted. Aaron remembers Derek, but he's an independent musician out of California from UCLA. And he's put out a lot of EPs and albums and all kinds of stuff over the years, but he's a huge Van Halen fan. And unfortunately, I believe I was the one who broke Van Halen's death to him via my memorial on my site.
Yeah, same with me.
Yeah, well, I texted you, I think, but
no, I saw it on the live stream chat.
I think you're mistaken, but anyway, I'm just going to continue.
No, I'm not mistaken. I'm not mistaken.
I did not tell you live streaming that Eddie Van Halen was dead. I must have sent you an instant message.
You did too.
It was in the chat.
It was
in the live stream chat. You posted
the
words of
I misunderstood what you said. Okay, never mind. Okay, so anyway, sorry. So Derek, actually, he's written a whole bunch of Van Halen stuff on my site, and one of the best that he's written is called Operation Van Halen, and it's about him making a Van Halen mix CD to give to a girl so that she'll like him. And I love that story. Chris Sarr wants to know what your drink sponsor is tonight, Eric.
Tonight it's Miller High Life.
There you go. So tonight we're doing the Van Halen deep cuts, and the only restriction that I put on this was no singles, although I kind of went more strictly on myself. Derek's number 11 from Van Halen 3 is Once, which is a brilliant song. And he says, the best damn song off of Van Halen 3, the soul of Eddie's playing, the true range of Gary's vocals exploding into the ether. Special as hell. And I love that we're getting love for Van Halen 3 right off the start.
Well, I told you, and I'm quite adamant about this. That album is quite possibly the most disappointing major rock album ever.
Right.
Like, let's be honest.
And I'm glad you're saying that now, because that leads into Derek's number 10. We were discussing this privately, you and I, earlier. There's a song that wasn't on Van Halen 3.
Okay.
And it's Derek's number 10. And spoiler alert, it's on my list. We both picked a Van Halen song that's never been on an album. And it's called That's Why I Love You. And he comments, should have been on Van Halen 3 instead of that Roger Waters wannabe track, How Many Say I. I think even the most ardent Sharon haters would like it. And you know, I'm not going to go as far as to say ardent Sharon haters would like it, but it's a damn good song, and it's better than anything on Van Halen 3, and it's absolutely mind-boggling that it is not on Van Halen 3. The only way I have it is via a poor-sounding bootleg, but apparently they cut the song at the last minute and put on a different track called Josephina, which I think is a piece of shit.
Well, the album itself is a poor-sounding bootleg.
This song would not have fixed, like, it wouldn't have saved the album. This one song wouldn't have, but it might have given him a hit in a time when
it had melody, unlike the rest of
had a lot of melody. It's surprisingly, and they never re-recorded it later, which shocked me. Derek's number 9 is You and Your Blues from Different Kind of Truth. He calls it the best song on that album, but we will disagree. Killer palm muted riff, and David sounds fucking great instead of like he's having a colonoscopy minus anesthesia, like he does so often live.
He ain't wrong. He ain't wrong there.
I'm interested in his number 8 song because I consider this whole batch of songs to be a waste of time, and that is the Van Halen Best of Both Worlds, the 3 songs they did with Sammy for that collection.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't even put Up for Breakfast or something like that. He put Learning to See, which was like the slow ballady one. Okay, so he says, while the Hagar reunion was a mess, no question, this song is not. Really heavy riffage, that's true. At the end, it does have a good riff. And multi-guitar line solo is fantastic. So that's more Derek as the musician. The UCLA educated musician.
those songs have kind of grown on me, except for the ballad one. The other two have kind of grown on me a little bit.
It's About Time. I don't mind Up for Breakfast, even though the lyrics are terrible.
The lyrics are, they are awful. They're like Weird Al lyrics.
She put butter on the biscuit first thing in the morning.
Yeah, it's not good.
His number 7 is his first instrumental on this list, Baluchatherium. Hope I said that right, but nobody's ever said the word Baluchatherium to me before, which is an actual animal that exists or existed. It's on the Balance album. Oh. It's an interesting instrumental because it sounds basically like it's a song without a vocal rather than a show-off thing. The best case for an Eddie Van Halen instrumental album is this song. It's larger than life, he says. And then Derek going out of the box again and possibly also stealing my thunder again for the second time, picks another song that's not on an album.
Okay.
But this time, at least he picked a song that has been released. It's a B-side, and I believe it's Van Halen's only B-side, Crossing Over, which is from the Balance period. And in fact, here's my tin with that track. There's 2 discs in the tin. It was one of those dumb things where they sold CD1 in a tin and CD2 in a case. And then you're supposed to put them both in the tin. You guys remember that stupid stuff?
Yeah.
Anyway, Crossing Over. It's actually from this disc here. You can see Crossing Over. It's a song about the afterlife, actually. And it's really cool. And it's really different from everything on Balance. But he says, I love Van Halen when they're at their most experimental, and this song is the very definition of that. Spiritual, otherworldly, and introspective. And I agree with him 110%. No surprise here. Derek is a big fan of the Balance album. He reviewed it for me on my site. He picked Feelin', which is the closing track on that album. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe this masterpiece never made the airwaves. Sammy and Eddie are in prime form on this emotionally exhausting track. And, I agree with him on that too. Derek, what's that?
Fair. Yeah.
Fair. Derek goes old school. I believe this is Women and Children First. In a simple rhyme. Who said David Lee Roth never wrote love songs? This is a perfect ending to any Roth era album, in my opinion.
Great song.
Yeah.
Then he's got his second instrumental here, which is his number 3 track, and it's a surprising one. Sunday Afternoon in the Park. Brooding, foreboding, and just brilliant in its execution. I was glad to see this come back during Mikey's bass solo on Right Here, Right Now. I don't even remember that, to be honest with you. Number 2, this is a great pick. Girl Gone Bad from 1984. Again,
another great song.
Yeah. The best fucking song on the album, and it doesn't get airplay, he says, with question marks. My favorite Eddie Van Halen riff of all Roth era stuff is the opening to this banger. And his number 1 takes me by surprise, but I think Eric will appreciate it.
Okay.
5150. Any doubt that Sammy would be great for Van Halen is erased here. Brilliant playing from the whole band, and you really feel that like they turned a corner following Roth's acrimonious split. That's Derek.
Oh, that's another great song. You know I love that song.
Not a bad Sammy heavy list. Like, I don't know how you feel about the Balance album, but I think he picked some strong moments.
I don't feel much about the Balance album.
I think the Balance album is unbalanced. But the good parts are good and the bad parts are not good.
That's fair. That's very fair.
Apparently Meat doesn't fucking make mistakes. I beg to differ.
What? I don't make mistakes on what?
I don't know, but I will.
What does that mean?
I don't know, but I can tell you it's 100% untrue.
Oh, it's untrue.
Meat's a lush. That's true.
That's true.
And Get Up, of course, will be number 1 in everyone's Van Halen list. You never know, man. Like it could be. It is a deep cut. That counts.
I do like that song. So Kevin, I got a question for you. I wanted to ask you. I have now heard the AC/DC song, and I'm very curious of what your thoughts are on it.
Are we talking about that preview thing that he posted?
No, the song.
The
Shot in the Dark.
Shot in the Dark.
Yeah. I'm curious.
I give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's good. It's not, a return to the glory days or anything like that. But it's fine. I'm looking forward to the rest of the album. It's growing on me though. Every time I hear it, I find myself wanting to listen to the whole song instead of like, I'm not getting tired of it. So,
I always look forward to the solo.
I don't dislike it. I like it's exactly what I thought it was going to be, and that's a good thing. I didn't want to hear AC/DC going completely crazy. Like it is what it is, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I really think the whole album is going to be much like what we got from the previous 2 albums. It's going to sound a lot like that. It's not going to be anything. It's not going to blow your mind. It's not going to be the next Back in Black. It's not going to be, or even the Razor's Edge or anything like that. It's just going to be a solid AC/DC album.
Let's be honest. This is Black Ice Disc 2.
See, when we did the AC/DC deep cuts, if it wasn't deep cuts, I very well probably would have had Rock and Roll Train on my list because I love that song.
Yeah, it's a good song.
To me, that's the best thing that they've done in 20 years at that point. That's just a great song.
Yeah. And it's the same producer, that it's produced all this, so they haven't changed the formula much. They pretty much anything that kind of works for them, they kind of stick with it. So
yes, they're very insular as far as keeping their circle tight.
Yeah.
Axl's very fortunate to have become a part of that circle.
Yeah. Well, and same with Chris Slade. he was there for a split second.
I feel bad for that guy getting ditched twice in sort of unceremonious manner.
I think even Brian Johnson said, Chris Slade had to have known he was never in AC/DC. He was just there to finish that concert, and that was it. Do the tour.
That new track, Demon Fire.
Yeah.
Lana says that it reminds her of Safe in New York City.
Yeah, she did leave a comment. I haven't commented back.
That's a good song.
Yeah, and it's like one of them. Yeah, so I don't know if you know Meat, but they released a new track, 40 seconds of another track today.
Hey, Meat.
No, I didn't.
Do you want to comment? Do you want to comment on this because your mixtape? Remember that mixtape that you made?
What? Are you talking about me?
Yeah, do you remember you made that weird?
No.
Sound collage mixtape.
What it was. Tom and I in 2002 did what was relatively a comedy mash of 9/11.
Because he had that crazy tape recorder where you could, way before, like now on Audacity, you can cut, and paste. But you guys had a tape recorder that would allow you to do really precise cut and paste, basically.
Yeah, that was my tape recorder, and it was spring loaded. So literally, the pause button was it was to the nth degree. Like it was perfect.
Yeah.
So yeah, like we did like a 9/11 jest kind of thing with collages in there, and that's right. Sapin in New York City was in there.
Yeah, for sure. It was right before the disaster happens, I think, in your song. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's a long time ago. That's 18 years ago.
So it's 7:30. Aaron is obviously either forgotten or got the time wrong. I say we proceed with your list, and then I guess Kevin and I will go.
Sure.
Do ours in rounds.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say right off.
Sorry, real quick.
Go on.
Unfortunately, this tape no longer exists. Otherwise, I would have a copy.
I really wish I could find that. I might be able to find that at Tom's, but
highly unlikely. I'm sure that. Yeah, highly unlikely, I would say at this point.
And frankly, it is a little choppy, and it's too long.
By today's standards, it's choppy. By those standards, it was like, dude, this is seamless.
Oh yeah. Now, it's funny. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So you're gonna run through yours just like we did with Derek's, and then after that, Kevin and I will. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So let's do it.
I want to start off with I'm giving a shout out to my buddy Gary Molinar.
Yes.
Who you met at the Boathouse. He is the biggest Van Halen fan I know. He likes it all. He likes all the Sammy. He likes all the Dave. Like likes it. He's the biggest. He's the biggest Van Halen fan I know. I actually called him
Gary.
I don't know that, to be honest. I don't think we ever discuss him. But he I actually called him like 20 minutes ago just to inform him what I'm going, because like a lot of the stuff he likes is stuff that I like, and we've spent a lot of time having a lot of fun to Van Halen. So I just wanted to say that. Anyway, okay, so we're looking at number 11.
Yeah.
Now with Van Halen, pardon?
All this build-up, we haven't even got the number 11 yet.
No, and we're still not going to, because I'm going to say, like, there's a couple songs that were very close to making my list.
Aaron is inbound. I just got a text. He's inbound.
Okay. Yeah. I'm the one, and Me Wise Magic. I was having a hard time. But I left them both off because I wanted to put something off a different kind of truth on there. Now, I would have put Tattoo because, and I know this is not a popular opinion, but that's my favorite song on the album. It's always been my favorite song on the album. But I obviously can't do that because that's not a deep cut. So my number 11 is actually As Is.
Love that song, but it's not one of my favorites on it.
It was very, very like a drop D tuning, just low and heavy, just great song.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Yep.
Okay, number 10 is one of my 2 Sammy Hagar songs on my list, and it is from Fuck. And it is Judgment Day.
Okay, one of the best songs on that album. Yep.
Yes, I totally agree.
Whammy bar riff when he just goes wah 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 wah. Love that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's an incredible. It's one of the best songs they've done since 1984. Love the song.
Can you guys tell when somebody in the parking lot turns on their headlights? The light on my face.
I thought you were just glowing.
Mike is glowing.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so that was my number 10.
Nice.
Good,
like it.
Number 9 is we talked about how the first album, it's debatable whether there's even a deep track on the album, but I'm going to go with the last song, and that's On Fire, and that's because the song is on fire.
Yeah, you know what? I would, on that album, because we had this discussion earlier, I told him that personally I considered every song in that album to be a hit. But if there was one that I was going to allow for myself, it would have been On Fire. So good stuff. Great.
I remember a Sausage Fest probably 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, where that song was playing around the fire very loud, and I had a serious moment with that song. Like, just how incredible that song is.
Speaking of moments that you're having, apparently you have a halo, which is kind of true.
I swear that I wasn't in any way high when I had this moment with On Fire.
I would have never seen you high, so
I may have been on fire myself at the time. Anyway, okay, so that was number 9.
Yeah.
Number 8 is one that was already mentioned today, and that is "Girl Gone Bad." Love the song.
Van Halen.
Wow, that's funny.
That's another great pick, man.
Yeah, as soon as I heard that he put, I totally understand exactly what he said. Like, what he said was exactly right.
Yeah. I think that was his only 1984 track, but then again, anyway, keep going.
Yes, that was number 8. Number 7 is from what I always say is my favorite Van Halen album. And I actually had to stop myself from putting several songs on this album, but I tried to mix it up a bit. But the track, my number 7 pick is DOA.
Van Halen 2?
Van Halen 2 is my favorite Van Halen album.
Interesting.
When it comes right down to it. And funny thing is, there are at least 2 songs on that album that I don't really like. You're No Good.
I love that song. One of my favorites on that record.
I Dance the Night Away is catchy, but
okay, that I get. But I would have thought you would have been into You're No Good. But that's okay.
As a deep cut album, it's just chock full of great songs. And DOA, it's just chunky, heavy. Like, it's the classic Eddie overdriven sound. I love it.
Unpopular opinion.
Yeah, probably an unpopular.
Van Halen 2 is the bonus tracks of Van Halen 1. Unpopular.
It's funny. Derek, I know you watch that Sea of Tranquility channel with Pete Pardo.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's funny because this afternoon, after I did my list, I checked to see if they had a Van Halen deep cuts, and they didn't. They had top 10 Van Halen songs with Pete Pardo and some black guy that I've never seen on there before, like a friend of his, who's a huge Van Halen fan. And it was funny because his favorite band, by far his favorite album by them is Van Halen 2. It was just very strange because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah,
because most people don't appreciate that album like I do.
Yeah, there's some hardcore fans of that album.
Yeah.
He says You're No Good's kind of lame, but the rest is sweet.
It's true.
Drop Dead Legs has to be on here. Give us time. Aaron's here. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Aaron, how's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you? Sorry I'm late.
No worries,
it's
buddy.
All good.
Just so you know, we ran through a guest list from, do you remember Derek Court-Peter?
Of course.
Okay, so we ran through a guest list from him, which was awesome, except that it stole all of my thunder. And Meek's got a plane to catch, so we're on his. We're just doing his real quick before we do our own rounds. And I believe we're on your number 7. Am I right?
Yeah, I'm a number 6. But anyway, I will say hi, Aaron. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
You're a little muffled, Aaron.
Oh, awesome.
Yes, you are a little muffled.
I think you're better when you're more forward, I think.
Okay, I'll come forward a bit. Is that better?
It's still a little muffled, but that was better.
Oh, hold on.
That was great.
Something covering the microphone?
No, it's just my blue.
Okay.
So I don't know. Is this thing on?
I don't know.
Well, maybe you're coming through the camera.
I think you're coming through your camera microphone.
Here, hold on. Let me check the thing. Anyway, you guys go ahead. I will figure this out.
Okay.
I have a blue too.
You guys are all blued up.
I mean, I'm not using my blue, but I have a blue.
You have it.
We're the blue man.
I think I fixed it.
There you go. Now you sound good.
Hey, there it is back.
Okay.
I am a tech wizard.
So, Meat, you're on your number 6.
Yes. And I will just go very quickly for Aaron. I did As Is, Judgment Day, On Fire, Girl Gone Bad, DOA. So far.
I wonder if I have any of those. Okay, good, cool.
Okay. There you go. So we are at number 6. I did say I did not have an instrumental, but I also said to you, Mike, that technically I do, because Little Guitar's intro is part of Little Guitars.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that is my number 6. And I could make the argument that is David Lee Roth's best moment of his career, vocal wise. That is some serious vocals, not just the execution, but the writing of the melody lines. That song is perfect.
Yeah, okay.
I love it so much.
I'm a big fan of Diver Down, so I no issues, man.
Okay. So that was number 6. Number 5 is my only song from Women. Oh no, it is not. One of 2 songs remaining from Women and Children First. Number 5 is In a Simple Rhyme.
Love it.
Which, it's a very rare David Lee Roth love song. You know, I don't know if you saw the Joe Rogan podcast with David Lee Roth.
No,
I did. It was big. It was wild, actually, and he kind of tried to explain the difference between him and Sammy Hagar, and he's like, you know, basically Hagar is, you know, why can't this be love? And David Lee Roth is, I ain't talking about love. Like, and he's right. Like, he's not a love song guy. There's not many, but
he's not a romance guy.
But that is a love song. Yeah. It might be his only love song. I'm sure you can find something else, but there you go. That's my number 5.
Awesome. I love it.
Number 4 is from Women and Children First as well. And it is Romeo Delight. That I can tell you this right now. If there is a band out there who has tried to cover that song, they have failed.
Isn't that most Van Halen songs?
Yeah. No, very good point. But I think more than any other song, try playing. It's not even an actual riff. Like there's too much to say about how good that song is. So, yeah, that is my number 4. Is Romeo Delight. Okay.
Wicked.
Top 3. While I've done this, I have changed my order because I've realized that. So my number 3 is now my number 2. So my number 3 now is House of Pain off of 1984.
Okay.
I've always loved that song. I know that's a song that Tom Morwood adores.
Yes.
Speaking of that, Tom Morwood gave me this lighter last night.
Nice.
Nice.
I almost forgot to As a matter of fact, I'm going to use that letter right now to light this smoke.
Well, he lights that smoke. I'll just show off Martin Popoff's excellent Unchained Van Halen user manual.
Nice.
What?
Well, you don't need a whole book for that. Put it on, turn it up.
You know what? I think that you can squeeze even more pleasure out of your Van Halen if you have the user's manual.
Well, there you go.
What is a Van Halen user's manual?
It's a little laid out differently than his usual kind of books. He kind of have things more in sections, like top 20 Alex moments, top keyboard songs, the album covers critiqued, just different sections rather than his usual style of book, which is a chronological from beginning to now.
Top 20 Alex moments. That is interesting because that is a big part of my number one song. Big.
So everybody wants some, I guess.
No.
Oh, okay.
So my number two, which I just changed from number 3 to number 2, is the title track from 5150.
Yes.
By far the best thing that they've ever done with Sammy. Incredible riff in that song. I think that shows why Eddie Van Halen is a very underrated rhythm player.
Mm-hmm.
Just writing that riff is incredible. And, I would have had more. I would have had at least one other, if not 2 other songs from 5150 on this list. But when I looked it up, did every song on that album chart?
There were, I think, 4 singles.
More than 4. I bet you, if you look right now, that it was more than 4.
No problem.
It was the number 1 album. It reached number 1. So
it is their greatest selling album. It's true.
Light smoke. Apparently, your halo's going on and off as you move. If you want to keep your halo, you have to kind of stay stationary, I think.
You sort of go in and out of being the heaven and hell.
And apparently, Aaron, you're being fined 25 cents. That's an Australian dollar, so I don't know what that is.
I am happy to support my local library.
There you go.
Anytime.
And apparently you look like Malkovich. I don't see it myself. But then again, I'm the one who said you look like Paul Rudd. Just, if Paul Rudd shaved his head.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you there.
I had to look that dude up. I did. Oh, okay, that guy. Yeah, all right. Well, he's lucky to look like me.
It is a compliment. Yeah. Okay, so I guess this is it.
My number 1.
Numero uno.
As I mentioned earlier, a top 20 Alex moment or whatever. My number 1 song is from my favorite Van Halen album of all time, which is Van Halen 2, and it is Out of Love Again.
Okay.
I love and adore that song. I have for many years. The solo in it is gorgeous. The drums in it, there's little parts that I had mentioned earlier, Gary Molinar. If him and I are in the same room and that song is playing, we are both looking at each other and doing certain little drum parts. And we have for 25 years. It's, that song has brought, us together so many times. I just love that song. And I really could have picked a lot more songs from Van Halen too. I wanted to kind of mix it up a bit. There you go.
Aaron.
Yes.
Lana thinks you look like Chris Slade from AC/DC. And we were just saying that we felt bad for him earlier because he was never really in AC/DC. So that's funny that this came up.
Okay, well, and we also, let's get it all out there. We also used to say Jason Statham for some reason, maybe this.
I thought that was a fun little side character.
And also the muscles, I mean, come on.
Well, obviously.
Basically, every person is picking every bald guy they know, and they look like a...
Right, it's only a matter of time before somebody calls him Professor X or
Jean-Luc Picard.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Or Ed Harris.
Meat, I gotta say that is a fantastic list, and I only have one song in common with you.
Well, that's the band we're talking about, because there's flavors, and it's what flavor is yours. Yeah,
all of it.
And for you, and I will be watching later. I'm definitely curious because I know that you are a guitar player, and you're kind of specific about your gear. So I think you have an interesting perspective on it all. So
okay, well, I'll see what I can do for you. Most of my gear is made in China and cheap, so
I got you. I appreciate you letting me come on and saying my piece about the Van Halen songs.
I appreciate having you on, man. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah.
So you got your plane to catch, I guess. And,
yes, I do.
You just I don't know. You keep on rocking in the free world, and
indeed.
That's another good idea for a show, Neil Young.
And I will say one more thing.
That is another good idea.
That would be good. I do want to say one more thing before we let Meat go, and that is to Aaron. This right here is the new Max the Axe Punk EP.
Hello.
3 songs, 8 minutes, 35 seconds in total.
That sounds good.
The 3 songs are called, first one's a Black Flag cover, Thirsty and Miserable, but it's kind of Black Flag done via Lemmy Kilmister, because Lemmy covered this on a solo album of his. And then the second track's an original, I believe, called Pygmy Blow Dart. And then the third track, which he and we disagree on, but the third track is a really cool, real messy party track called Oktoberfest Cheer. And it's about KW.
I have horror stories.
Well, they are put to song right here. I love it.
Well, I will forever love them for covering Black Flag, because that's one of my favorite all-time bands.
It's a great cover, and I look forward to an eventual physical release, which I understand will be early 2021.
Awesome. I'm quite happy with the 2. The Black Flag cover I'm very happy with, and I'm happy with the original Pygmy Blow Dart, which I did not write. The lyrics of that. Mike and I disagree on
Oktoberfest Cheer.
I have some issues, and they're deeply personal, and we'll just end that at that, because Max is probably watching, and I'm probably gonna get a phone call.
I'm just gonna say we are all gonna want a physical copy, because we have to show them off on these live streams.
That's right.
I will be the middleman regarding everybody getting a copy.
Sweet,
fabulous.
Let's see. I'm looking forward to the Michael Ladano picture disc of Pygmy Blow Dart.
There you go. It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you for having me on. It's good to see all of you again.
Good seeing you.
You too.
Great list.
And thank you. And I will be watching later, and I will check out.
Maybe even on the plane. You might even be watching on this plane that you're catching.
Yes.
It might be the in-flight movie.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it's definitely the invisible plane, like Wonder Woman, but it's still a plane. And I was wondering that. What was the issue there with going to the bathroom on the Wonder Woman plane?
Oh, no. It wasn't that kind of plane. It was like a fighter jet.
No, it was a plane. I think there was a Dave Matthews situation going on. They were just dumping on people,
I honestly think it's a pee before you leave situation.
Yes, I agree with Aaron.
I have 2 children. I know exactly how that works. Before you get in the car.
So Wonder Woman was like, man, I really need to fight this crime, but I need to piss more.
Right, like you have to take care of A before you do B. Like,
right, indeed.
That's one of these logical questions. Like, what's up with the Incredible Hulk's pants?
Okay, they're very stretchy.
Shirt rips off, and
the pants are stretchy. They are stretchy.
They got.
Well, it's funny. It was funny because last night, me and Tom and Bucky did some comedy recording and one of the things we did was a thing about Bruce Wayne, and like I'm not going to go totally into it, but it was kind of like supposedly from Wikipedia, Gotham City has like 10 million people, and Bruce Wayne is worth like $300 billion. And like, could you maybe put some of that money into some schools or maybe mental health or some social service?
Instead of like utility belts with climbable ropes and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, maybe sell one of your 14 Batmobiles
and build a school.
Yeah. Build 70 schools.
That might have stopped a few supervillains from coming about to be, because they would have had some structure.
Maybe, Kevin, if they built these schools, there would have been more jobs for these supervillains, so they could quit their life of crime and just take up a life of janitorial work.
Yeah, this is true.
I feel I am among kindred spirit. It's wonderful. Love it.
So Bruce Wayne, questionable
character. Maybe he's the bad guy of the story all along.
He might be
the bad guy of the story.
He's stoking the fires of insanity. I mean, there's probably 5,000 people in Arkham Asylum. Whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, I get you. I follow you.
Anyway.
I follow you.
Okay, guys. I'm gonna take off. Thanks. It's good to see all of you. Okay. And I'll be watching later. Take care. See you.
Bye.
Cheers.
And guys, I'm just gonna do a real quick gen check.
Okay.
So just bear with me. I just want to make sure everything's cool.
Okay. So, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm on the Aaron routine right now. I've cut back on my coffee. I think we might have talked about it a little bit. I don't know, but I cut back on. So I'm only I'm drinking 2 cups of coffee a day.
Yeah.
And I've been going for walks every day.
All right, she's hanging in there.
Work and go out for big
First
walks.
2 things I did: cut back the coffee and start walking.
Yeah. And I've been sleeping through the night. It has been working for me.
Yes.
So.
Cut out the coffee. No caffeine after lunch. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Well, I have a cup of tea. I am hooked on tea. But so you don't drink. You were saying you only drink water.
That's it,
right? But what about like a herbal tea or something like that?
I tried that, but it's a slippery slope back into other hot drinks.
Okay.
So I just because I love coffee. I'm not here to say, oh, you shouldn't drink coffee. It's nasty. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't like what it was doing to me. For me, it was a gut thing. It was really acidic and it was really bothering me.
Yeah,
so
same issue.
Cutting that back. And I've done that before. In fact, your lovely wife, Kevin, will remember that the last time I did that, because, of course, Juan Valdez follows her.
Right.
Yes. And she was like, how could you stop drinking coffee? That doesn't even compute.
Yeah.
And so this is not the first time. But I'm so glad for you. That's awesome. And because I remember you guys went for the walk there and you were saying you felt really good. So I'm glad you're keeping that up. Yeah,
every day. Except for yesterday, I raked leaves instead. So that was exercise. Okay. It was 2 hours of raking leaves. And I was like, I don't need a walk today.
Did you jump in them?
That's a workout.
No, I didn't feel like raking them up the pile up high enough to jump in them. Okay. I just rake up a nice pile, get them in the bags, because we got to put them in the bags and I don't know what you guys have to do.
Yeah, we just I don't know. I live in a condo.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, you got
I have a mulching lawnmower, so I just feed them all up, and they're fertilizer for next year.
Right? Yeah, I could do that as well, but our trees are so big and plentiful. Yes. If it would just be, I would be running over mulch all the time.
Awesome.
What I really love, guys. What I really really love. Yeah. Is that anybody tuning in right now? Herbal tea and lawn care.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read a couple of comments.
Sure.
I do not understand how you look anything like Phil Lynott.
Because he's the contrarian, right?
That's the only explanation.
He's the contrarian, so he picked the guy with the most hair.
Okay. I don't care because that's a compliment either way.
It is true.
Yeah.
Right?
This is a really good question here from Lana. If the David Lee Roth era was the most popular era for the band, why is 5150 the band's best-selling album? It went to number one.
Timing.
Obviously, the reunion with Sammy Hagar was successful, but I don't believe that you can really say that one is more popular than the other. I really don't.
Yeah, there are people who are just Hagar fans, and
yes, die hard.
Like in the 90s, there was a good, I would say, 15 to 20 year chunk where David Lee Roth was a joke. Not to me.
Vegas.
I love David Lee Roth, right?
The Vegas era.
Yeah, but people just like treated him like a joke. He was, I don't know what it was. It was like, I think it was because the music industry had changed in the 90s. You know, it was the grunge stuff and that. And David Lee Roth was like a bit of a poster child for the 80s. You know, they were like, Van Halen kind of started what all the 80s bands were doing, and it was just out of favor. And like when I was buying Van Halen stuff in the 90s, I was getting made fun of, you know, because the Sammy Hagar stuff was okay, but like anyone that was into David Lee Roth, that was
Sammy Hagar stuff transitioned into the 90s. They had a big hit with Right Now. So they managed to transition successfully into the 90s, whereas David Lee Roth did not. He put out Little Ain't Enough, and he failed to generate a hit with that.
Yeah.
And it was probably a little bit too 80s. And he never really adapted to that more serious side that Van Halen did adapt to.
But that song Right Now, that was like 3 albums in with Hagar.
Yes, it was.
Right?
But that was also their first album of the 90s.
True. Okay. Yeah.
Frankie and Chris cannot wait to hear the Max the Axe album.
Yeah. Let's get this going.
Yeah, let's go. Why do I not already have it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for a final mix, basically.
That'd be a great day if AC/DC and Maxi Axe came out on the same day.
Oh, that'd be wicked. I could probably arrange that.
That'd be awesome.
I hope that Maxi Axe is playing live in 2021, let alone 2022. Going back to Batman and one of the comics, there was a Scarecrow vision of how good Gotham would have been had Bruce Wayne devoted himself to the city in that way. All the villain. There you go. Oh, he was joking about Lynette. Okay.
See, that's what I figured.
My answer would be that the album after the best album or era usually sells more than the one before it because everyone who got into the really good one automatically bought the next one, which is sort of true.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I don't know that Day for Night outsold Fully Completely.
No,
right?
We could look that up.
Everybody bought Fully Completely.
Yeah, well, like for instance, like the Dirty Deeds that came out in '81 after Back in Black, it sold a ton of copies just because it was the next album after Back in Black.
Synchro Drink.
And
it's hard to sell more. It's really hard to sell more.
And 1984, like the David Lee Roth stuff was always under the because Michael Jackson. Basically, Michael Jackson Thriller was out, and it never reached 84. Never reached number one because Thriller was number one. Really,
same issue with Pyromania by Def Leppard, blocked by the same album
by Thriller. Thriller, yeah. So I don't know if like now, like if you could look at it now and say that 5150 was the most successful, it just sold a ton of albums because I'm pretty sure more people can say Jump or Panama or Hot for Teacher than they can name off songs from 5150.
The big deal about 5150 was it was the first number 1 album for Van Halen and the first number 1 album for Sammy Hagar, and Roth never had a number 1 album. And that we're talking strictly, I believe, the Billboard chart. Why don't we start with our Van Halen deep cuts? We've already heard Meats. We've already heard Derek's.
Sure.
And basically Derek stole all my thunder. As I said earlier, Aaron, you missed some interesting stuff on Derek's list. He went off the beaten track.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. Later. Yeah.
Well, here's the recap that's necessary. Mm-hmm. We both picked a track that's not on any album. We both picked a track that's not even released. We both picked a track with Gary Cherone. And that track is called That's Why I Love You. And that's my number 11. And it's a fantastic song. And if it was on Van Halen 3, it might have had a chance at being a hit. But they pulled it at the last minute. It was only on initial promo cassettes, probably. But of course, it's been leaked to YouTube and everything else out there. So it's totally hearable. Anybody wants to hear it. That's Why I Love You by Van Halen, Mark III. is my number 11. And Derek, screw you for stealing my thunder.
No, it just means that great minds think alike.
Yeah. Derek and I both wanted to include bits from all of the eras of Van Halen, and I think we both successfully did that.
Cool. I'm looking forward to this.
All right, Kevin, you're up.
Okay, well, I did this a little different than my AC/DC list because with that, I got like really technical. Like, I just picked a bunch of songs from albums. Like when I was buying them in the 1990s, like I had like 1984 and I had For an Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, and those were pretty much the only two albums I had. So as I was buying these albums, I was like discovering all the hidden album tracks that I had never heard on the radio and that. And when I started doing this list, like all those songs that were on those albums were in my head and just better than anything else I could think of from other eras. So I tried to like do the Sammy Hagar stuff and that. I do have one Sammy Hagar song on the list, but the rest is all David Lee Roth. So I guess I'm a David Lee Roth fanboy or something. I don't know. And I brought props too. So
good for you.
So I could do the Rob thing and hold them up. So it's going to be the same albums over and over again though. But so my first song is actually the first song that came to my head when we were discussing about doing this, and it's Romeo Delight. And I only placed it down to number 11 because I looked up on setlist.com and they played that song live, I think pretty much since Women and Children First, every show they did with David Lee Roth, because it was played hundreds upon hundreds of times. But it's not a song that I think that most people know, and it was never a single or anything like that. But it was a huge part of their live set. And it's a great song. It's got a great like lyrics from that "Baby Please Don't Go," like, or "Baby Please I Can't Take It Anymore." You know, like just that hook from David Lee Roth. Yep. And Eddie's solo is fantastic in it, and it's just such a great. It's one of their better metal songs. You know, it's got that metal chug to it. So
it's a great riff. Eddie had a way of. Sometimes he wrote more complicated riffs, but that's a nice simple one. And it's more about how it's played. Really, I could play that and it wouldn't
got good
groove
swing
at all.
Yep, for sure.
Cool.
So that's my number 11.
Heck yeah.
All right, you're up, Malkovich.
Yeah, take your pick, right?
I know, it's like settle on one.
Yeah. First of all, a couple of things. I changed my background for you guys so you can have something new to look at.
Johnny Cash, very good.
Yeah. I've got my
Telly.
The lovely.
Your beautiful baby.
I love.
She's a beautiful baby.
And also, if you see me sort of doing this throughout, this goes to our talk about the working out, Kevin. I was going to tell you what a superhero I am. Okay, so my kids do Kung Fu, but they're not doing it right now because of COVID.
Right.
So we got them a heavy bag.
Okay.
So they come down here in the basement and make it
coffee.
Bang away. They beat the crap out of
second coffee.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
We're judging you, Mike.
He's we're putting him to sleep actually, so it's our fault.
My stories go on too long, but anyway, we got the heavy bag, so they can come down here, take a round out of it, and do their moves and stuff, right? And keep in shape. So I started punching at it too, and it's actually quite therapeutic. I recommend it. I enjoy. We've got the gloves and everything, and we get. So I did about a half hour punching the bag today, and completely forgot that I had to go get a flu shot at 3:00.
Oh,
so my arms were heavy and sore, and then they jabbed me. So if I'm, and you know how your arm feels after a flu shot. So
yeah,
if I'm doing this, it's because this right here is telling me that I'm a doofus.
So you were okay to get an appointment for that? Because I hear there's some issues
we just booked it online.
And you did it. Did you do it at the drugstore or?
No, we booked it online through the family health team here. You can do it at the drugstore. You can go to Shoppers or Rexall or wherever and do it. But we are the family health team. It's like the group of doctors that run the building over there. Mm-hmm. They had it set up, and they were actually doing it in the Legion.
Oh, okay.
So it's like one shot of flu, one shot for you.
Yeah.
No, I just we booked it online and we just showed up.
Okay.
Now, my wife, my lovely wife gets it done at work because she works in a hospital.
Yeah.
So they just do it there for her.
Yeah. That's what we were having a clinic at our work too. It's not for another month. Yeah. But Sarah still needs trying to find some place to go, and she's thinking of just going to the drugstore, to the Shoppers Drug Mart.
Absolutely. We did that last year. We went to the Shoppers last year, and they were great. That it takes 2 seconds.
Yeah. Although, they were saying this year that there's backlog, and because they have to, before, like, you could just walk in there, right, and get your flu shot. Yeah. But now you got to have an appointment, and they only allow one person in. Then once they do that one person, once they leave, they wipe down the entire area, and then the next person can come in. So there's a bit of a lineup.
And this is the first time too that I had to sit for 15 minutes before they let me leave.
Oh, before they let you leave.
Yeah.
Because they thought you were gonna have a reaction, or?
Well, exactly. Yeah. And because I was there with the kids and I was the only one driving.
Oh, okay.
Watching all that. We said this isn't our first flu shot, but they did say, just go sit over there for 15 minutes and then you're good to go. They're just making sure I didn't react or anything like that.
Yeah, that happened to my sister. She passed out when the first time she got the flu shot, and she was driving home, and she felt like really faint. Yeah. So she was driving my dad's van. She was in her early 20s, and she drove off onto the side of put the van on the side of the road and parked it, and called my dad to come and get her.
She's lucky she got that far.
In the meantime, a police officer sees her, comes up behind her and says, "Hey, like, what's going on? Are you okay?" She's like, "I don't know. I had the flu shot. I'm having a bad reaction, but my dad is coming to get me." So the cop tells her, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll just make sure to move the van a little further off the side of the road." And then he took off. Not like, "I'll stay here with you until your dad shows up," or whatever. Yeah, good job. Sudbury Region Police. There you go.
Well, there you go. Now, the other thing that my lovely wife was saying is that anybody who has an allergy to egg, because they need a flu shot and egg, right?
Yeah.
So anybody who has so they really watch, because you might not know you have that allergy, or who knows.
Yeah. Well, I do, and so does my sister. So that's probably why she had that reaction. So
yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's scary stuff, because does she have an EpiPen and everything, or no?
No. It's not that serious, and that's why I don't think she would have gotten into the van to drive if she knew that. But this was 20 years ago. I don't know, when did they start doing the flu shot? So I guess they've smartened up since then.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys. So now that you've now that you've added vaccinations to the subject,
every time you leave, we talk about anything but music.
It's like, what am I coming back, dude? I hear these guys talking about getting the flu shot.
Well,
anyway,
we were judging you for going to get another coffee.
That's right.
Yeah, well, it's a decaf. It's a decaf.
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, that's cheating.
So to keep it on topic then for you,
right?
Full disclosure, I don't own Van Halen 3.
Right. So this is fine. I don't think anybody's really complaining. Derek and I covered Van Halen 3 fairly well. And we were saying earlier that the Balance album is kind of an unpopular one among a lot of these guys that are here tonight. And Derek and I both picked a single B-side.
Okay.
Called Crossing Over. And interestingly enough, it's a song about the afterlife, as I said earlier. And it's really it's more thoughtful than you're expecting it of a Sammy Hagar song. And it's Derek described it as spiritual, and I would agree with that as well. It's sonically innovative. Eddie does this neat kind of like stuttering guitar lick that goes through the entire length of the song. And Michael's got some really neat, well, if it's really Michael playing bass, he's got some really neat kind of slippery bass lines on it. Mm-hmm. It's a brilliant song, and that's why it's my number 10.
Oh, wait, I haven't even done my number 11 yet.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
You're good. You're good, because we were filling the time, right?
Right, Vax. Get your flu shot.
Yeah. Well, that was what it started out, because my arm is sore, because I also hit the heavy bag for a half hour this afternoon. And so then I went and got the flu shot. So now my arm is really sore.
At least hitting the heavy bag is something a little bit semi rock and roll. I picture a montage scene from Rock.
Yeah.
Eye of the Tiger. Eye of the tiger, buddy.
Yeah. Adrian, love you, Adrian. No, I love that movie. I'm not going to make fun of that movie.
No, that's.
Oh,
cool.
Rocky's great. Yeah.
So now Van Halen had 12 studio albums. I own 11.
Yeah,
Me too.
Fair. I went through them all. I played. I purposely skipped the ones I knew were hits, and I listened to the other songs. So what I didn't do what Meat would want. I didn't rank them 1 to 11. But what I did was I took one song from every album.
Nice.
I have them in chronological order because it's Nigel Tufnell 11, and I have 11 studio albums. So my question to you is, do you want me to start with A Different Kind of Truth and go backwards, or do you want me to
actually I do. I actually do. Yeah. I want you to go from A Different Kind of Truth backwards.
Okay, good, because that is one hell of a heavy record. I had so much fun listening to that.
Yeah.
Every riff on that is just like, I'm going to crush your skull.
Yeah.
So, Different Kind of Truth. I chose Honey Baby Sweetie Doll. Which I really enjoyed this time around. I was really spoiled for choice off of that record, but I went for that heaviness that, because the whole record was heavy, and I was just like, that's the one. So
no ballads.
No, not one. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, Honey Baby Sweetie Doll, all no spaces.
Yep, that's right. I love it. So I've already picked Crossing Over as my number 10, so that makes it Kevin's number 10.
Okay, my number 10. Here we go with my single Sammy Hagar pick off of Mike's favorite Van Halen album. We know he loves it. He loves the sound. He loves everything about this. One of my favorite songs on this, and I guess they played it live a few times, because that's the one thing with Van Halen. You can't pick albums or songs that they haven't played live, because they really get into their latest album, right? And they just kind of play that. Like when I watched Live Without a Net, that came out in 1986. They were with Sammy Hagar, but in 1984, Jump was the first number one hit, number one song, first song they had to go number one. 1986, no, we're not going to play that. Like that, who does that? There's nobody that does that. But they were into their new album.
Yes. My guess is that this is what we can remember right now is the stuff we just wrote.
Maybe, I don't know.
No, the truth of the matter is that Sammy Hagar was resistant to playing certain Roth songs.
I imagine that. So, but even so, like when they would come out with the Fair Warning, they would play like a ton off of Fair Warning. Anyways, back to my song. It's The Dream Is Over. I love that song. I love the little intro with Sammy, like, hey, come on, man, wake up. And then the whole melody and everything. I think that's the best song on this album. And for some reason, it was like never a single or anything like that. So,
my friend Bob Shipper, that was his favorite song off that album, and it's the only song off that album. The only song off that album that's not on Live Right Here, Right Now.
Yeah, it's on the VHS.
Yes, the
cassette.
Only videotape. Yeah,
right, but not. It didn't make. And the rest of the album did though. Like,
Lana also wants to ensure that there was a happy ending.
Yeah, she's dead. No, I'm kidding. No, she's happily married. She has 2 kids. She's all fine.
I'm out.
Good.
All right.
No, she's all good.
Oh dear.
All good.
Okay, I don't know who you are, if you're Chris Slade, John Malkovich, or Paul Rudd, but you're next.
Oh, okay. That's like the joke I always tell the cashiers at the stores around here, because they know that they knew the kids, right? And if I ever go out without them, they say, hey, where are your kids? I say, oh, they're fine. They're in the trunk. So sometimes they laugh, sometimes they look at me very concerned. So I'm moving to Balance.
Yep.
The album Balance. And for my number 10, I chose Feelin'.
Derek picked it too.
Yep. Which to me is probably the most 90s Aerosmith sounding Van Halen ever got. Like just the song structure and the tempos, but I love it. I think it's great. I think it's a cool. When I first heard it, though, I was like, "Damn, I could hear Steve Tyler singing that." That,
Yeah.
To me,
Latter day Aerosmith. Yeah,
absolutely. That '90s era, get a grip kind of Aerosmith.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree. Actually, well, interestingly enough, Aaron,
Yeah.
You're not full of shit there. Both Aerosmith and Van Halen ballads were produced by Canadian super producer Bruce Fairbairn.
Well, there you go. So maybe I'm onto something and I didn't even know it. That's most of my life.
Oh, hello, Rosanna from Brazil.
Hello.
And crossing over does sound incomplete. I don't disagree with that. But I love it as it is. Well, that's excellent, Aaron.
Yeah.
Is it me?
Yeah, it's you. Number 9.
I believe this is Van Halen 2, Light Up the Sky. Did I get that right?
Mm-hmm.
I always get Van Halen 2 and Women and Children First kind of jumbled in my mind because I kind of got them in a similar time frame.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Light Up the Sky, it's just very memorable to me. And, I like the heavy ones.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my representation from Van Halen 2, and it's my only representation from Van Halen 2. Spoiler alert. Over to you.
That's my favorite song on that album as well, and it almost made my list. I believe it's number 13 on my list, so it was almost there. My number 9 is from. Here we go. Gotta have my props here. From Diver Down.
Diver Down.
Mm-hmm. Hey, if you guys ever? I was just looking at this today. If you think about it, this could be like a really extreme close-up of Eddie Van Halen's guitar.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why.
I never thought of it that way, but
I always thought that's what that was.
Really? Yeah, I just was looking at it today, and I was like, oh yeah, that could be
either that or some sort of nautical flag or like semaphore,
I believe.
Well,
I believe it marks where a diver has gone down. I believe
if you're diving, this is the flag you're supposed to put up on your boat, alert the other boaters that there is a diver down. Anyways, the song off of here is Little Guitars. That Meat picked the same song. I love that tune. I love the whole little Spanish vibe of it, and then like it's Eddie's Spanish style, and then David Lee Roth coming in with the Senorita stuff. It's just great. It's great.
Love your pick. Love it.
That's great. Okay, me.
You're on for Unlawful Carnal Knowledge.
Carnal Knowledge, yes. I chose the Pleasure Dome.
Yeah. You know what? That song's warmed up on me. It's nice. Yep. It's really heavy. It's really heavy.
Oh yeah, I like it. It's nice. It's a little bit of a slow intro, and then just bam, right in the face, and it just never lets up. It's awesome. Issues with the album aside, I had fun listening to that. I thought it was, me, I'll listen to.
Yeah, I mean, you love to rediscover things that are already in your collection after a period of time.
I do, yeah. It's in fact this whole series that I'm doing on keepsmealive.com, WordPress.com, right here.
We'll check it out.
Yes. I'm going back through every album I've got, and that's every format. So it's taking me a while. I'm up to the Bare Naked Ladies,
cool,
which is the band, nothing lewd.
Yes.
But yeah, I really like Pleasure Dome. I thought that was a good song this time around. So
Lana agrees that she always thought the cover resembled Eddie's guitar. And funny enough, it never occurred to me until now. Never occurred to me.
Just occurred to me today.
Well, see, but you're more knowledgeable than the rest of us then, because you knew that was a flag for
diving down.
I always assumed it was some kind of flag, and then later on, I noticed it. I believe there was a diving shop on Victoria Street in Kitchener, and that's kind of where I put 1 and 2 together myself.
Okay. Yeah, I never knew that. Neat. Now I'll think both things.
Am I up again?
Yes, you're up.
Balance.
Yes.
Nobody picked Seventh Seal off Balance yet.
Ooh. And
I think that's a highlight of the Van Halen catalog, though completely different from everything else they've ever done. I mean, it's got Gregorian chants on it. Let's not forget the early 90s, those Gregorian chants were on the charts.
Oh,
so Maiden used them on Sign of the Cross, and Van Halen used them on Seventh Seal, although I believe the Van Halen song is... No, I'm not going to say it's better. It's accessible. It's more accessible than the Maiden song anyway. It's catchy. It's dark. It's got a really nice guitar playing from Eddie. And like I said, just very different from regular, everyday, ordinary Van Halen. So that's why that is my number 8.
Nice.
Okay, my number 8, still on Diver Down. Haven't left it yet. We're still here, and I'm going with the Full Bug. Best part of a man. Like every time that David Lee Roth sings that, and it's the whole song's great. It's a good song.
Yeah, that's got one of those great. I don't know if you call it a jazz beat, or it's got a shuffle to it, but it was that rhythm that only Michael and Alex could do.
Yeah, and I really like the songs that stick in my head are the ones that like David Lee Roth always like kind of leaves in my head. Like I'll be going around like the best part of a man, and those are the songs that really stick with me.
Yeah, I love it. Wish I picked it.
Well, if you'd had a list of 22, you might have.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I noticed for this, and I got to say thank you for coming up with these list ideas, because I go back and I listen to this stuff.
This was his.
Oh yeah, I watched that Sea of Tranquility show, and I just like take notes. Okay, that's what we do now.
No, but I honestly, I get to go back and listen to all of this stuff, and it reminds me of songs that I heard and liked, and then I haven't heard of in a while, and I go, yeah. So all the songs you're mentioning, I have heard recently, so I'm nodding in agreement because it's all excellent.
Yeah, good stuff.
Oh, and I also wanted to point out that this Johnny Cash album cover right here,
Orange Blossom Special.
Yeah, is a tribute to our friend Jay in Scotland. Used to be now I think Ayrshire or something like that, because he used to have this on the wall behind him in his profile picture.
Right.
So I threw that up there for him. I don't know if he's even watching or what, but if he is, hey Jay, how's it going? So my number 8 comes from OU812. Because I had to do one for every album.
I just said I freaking forgot that album.
Now, the title of it, I didn't know the story, but apparently it was noticing on a serial number on the side of a truck, and it's spelled out OU812. Right? Which, they thought was funny at the time. It was supposed to be called something else, like Bone or something, I think.
Yeah, I think I recall them saying that. Yeah.
So anyway, my song from that is the Apolitical Blues.
Ooh.
Which it's just this sort of slow blues. It's this dripping slow blues, but David Lee Roth just makes an absolute meal out of that song. His vocals are just
Sammy Hagar.
Sammy.
Oh, sorry, Sammy. What did I say?
You said David.
Okay, apologies to everyone everywhere. Don't send the hate. What they said makes a meal out of that one. I liked it.
Interestingly enough, that's a Little Feat cover.
Oh,
and it's also the CD bonus track.
Yeah.
So that's a real deep cut.
Well, you're welcome. I knew that.
I might be wrong here, but I believe Eddie at one time said that they recorded that song in a room with just 2 microphones, which is brilliant. Brilliant.
Almost Cowboy Junkies. Almost.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost.
One of the best Canadian albums ever. Anyway, Mike, your turn. Number 7.
I'll just read some comments. Rosanna's practicing her English with us, so we have to make sure that we speak properly. John T. Snow got Lana into Kiss, so we should do a Kiss deep cuts list one day. Lana, I could do 8 Kiss deep cut lists. The problem is finding the right guys to do them with me, which
wouldn't be me.
Suggestion. I will put it in my back pocket.
I don't have all their albums.
And Tyler,
my deep cut is "I Was Made for Loving You." That's
not a deep cut.
That's my Kiss song. That's it. That's the one.
Tyler's been popping in and out. I get dumb hours, man. I get that.
Been there.
And unfortunately, he won't be able to attend Fridays. Damn, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that.
Unfortunately, the Tubes of You will preserve them forever.
The Tubes of You will preserve it forever. They will also preserve forever my number 7 pick, which has not been picked yet among these lists that we've heard. From Fair Warning, it's one of my favorite songs. Come on, all you sinners, swing!
Yeah, that's a good one.
I didn't want to go deep onto Fair Warning because a lot of those songs are hits to me. Yeah. I couldn't hear about it later on this list because I don't consider that necessarily a deep cut for me personally. I consider that a hit. That's my personal feeling, and that's why it's not on my personal list. But I did want one song from Fair Warning, so I picked Sinner's Swing. It's another one of those ones that's just got one of those incredible Van Halen shuffles that only Van Halen can do, really. Yeah, over to you, sir.
Okay. Sinner's Swing was my number 12, by the way. Almost made my list. But here we are going back to Women and Children First. And we're on number 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I went with Take Your Whiskey Home. I love that track. It's a fun track. I think you're headed for a whole lot of trouble. Again, that's like, it just gets stuck in my head. And I love like how like slow it is at the start, and then it just builds up, and there's just a whole it's like a roller coaster ride, that song. I love it.
Great song.
Yes.
Monsieur Livre.
Oh, me again. Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm down to 5150. And the song I picked this time around was Get Up.
Harrison wanted that song. Harrison, you got it.
What I wrote some notes for these songs this time, and here's exactly what I wrote, Harrison. I wrote, sheer ballistics machine gun pace for over 4 minutes. Wow.
That's true. That's all true.
Holy smokes. That was awesome. Yes.
And that riff that he plays,
oh,
like, I don't know how he does it, but it sounds like a lot of it's just manipulating the whammy bar. Wah, 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 wah. You know,
one of those?
Sorry? I didn't hear what you said. Did you...
I said his guitar had one of those.
Not sure. Regarding that diving shop, there it is. It was on King Street, and then it moved to Victoria. It was called Diver Down Scuba Shop.
Well, there you go.
Tyler knows they're being preserved, but he likes to be involved and ask us things. Well, I appreciate that, man. And there's Harrison's reaction to Get Up.
Absolutely.
And echoing Kevin, my number 6 happens to be about taking a certain alcoholic beverage back to one's domicile.
Nice.
Okay, Mr. Data.
From Women and Children First. And I can't add anything to what Kevin said. I mean, I'm attracted mostly to that kind of slow, bluesy, and quite honestly, it sounds like they've been drinking some whiskey.
Yep.
It sounds very whiskey soaked. And that's why I picked that as my number 6. Take your whiskey home.
Sure.
As I butcher it.
It's good. It's all good.
So that brings you to your number 6.
Okay, my number 6, finally getting to Fair Warning, and I went with Dirty Movies. Quote, Dirty Movies, end quote.
I could have swapped that in with Sinner's Swing on my list easily.
Yeah. I love the mellow intro, and then it breaks into the metal, and then the pictures on the silver screen. Again, it's like these little, like they just stick in my head, you know?
Wasn't she going to be prom queen?
That's right. Yeah. And they only played it. I checked this. They only played it 40 times live. So if you were at one of those shows where they played it live, you got to see it rare.
The Fair Warning tour, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's I love it. It's good track. I love this whole album. It's so good. But yeah, like Mean Streets. I don't know if you could is that really a
right
a deep track? I don't know. I don't know if that's a deep cut. You know, like you were saying, like Unchained. I don't know if that's a deep cut. I don't know if I do hear Unchained on the radio sometimes.
Every day I hear it on the radio.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, there you go. So I'm glad I didn't pick that one, but I went with Dirty Movies.
Tyler's saying that he keeps forgetting Van Halen was metal, but then again, they got more lumped in with metal. I don't think Eddie Van Halen or anybody would actually consider them a metal band.
I think Eddie Van Halen is a metal guitarist. He had a metal sound to him. David Lee Roth was a pop guy. The rhythm section was a rock, and together,
with a jazz,
their own song, and jazz, and Eddie was very classical. I think that was like because his classical style of playing influenced a lot of metal.
It created that whole Eddie Van Halen spawned the whole neoclassical Yngwie Malmsteen genre,
right?
Him and Ritchie Blackmore, but Eddie Van Halen did have those classical influences like Bach and whatnot.
I think we did talk about that before, where they wrap around, right? Like the political spectrum, where metal and classical can diverge.
You know what? 100%, man, 100%.
Like if you think about it, like Black Sabbath created metal. If they came out today, they would be called stoner rock, which isn't metal, So
If they came out in the 90s, it would have been called grunge.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think there was a video for that for Unchained. And
a live thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that may be that metal sound also may be what made them stand out from all of the bands that they spawned, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like when you get all those other sort of hair, I know people don't like it called hair metal, hair rock, but that's what set them apart was that guitar sound.
Yeah.
And the amazing musicianship and the fearlessness and everything else that they did.
Well, they didn't sound like a hair band. They sounded like Van Halen. They had their own unique sound.
They're all by themselves. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Where are we?
I'm in Owen Sound. Where are you?
It's Aaron now. Number 6.
Okay. Until you mentioned Black Sabbath, I heard them in a Chili Peppers song today.
Oh.
I never noticed that the ending of "Give It Away" because I was listening to Chili's today because that's what I do sometimes, and I was listening to "Give It Away" with the kids in the car, and the ending of that song, right as it's leading out, I swear they're playing "Sweet Leaf" in the background. Yeah, if you go and listen to the ending of "Give It Away," I swear you can hear a guitar line that sounds like "Sweet Leaf."
I'm gonna have to listen to it on headphones.
So my number 6 is 1984, and I don't know if this one counts because it was a B-side to Jump, and it was "House of Pain."
Yeah.
So does that count?
Mr. One of these guys had House of Pain on their list. I believe it was Derek had House of Pain on his list. Yeah.
Okay, because I thought if it was on a single, even if it was a B-side, I wasn't sure if that was.
Well, you know what? Like we were saying earlier, most of 5150 was singles, which means the other half of 5150 was B-sides. So,
and I think a lot of their singles, like I was looking on Wikipedia, and a lot of the stuff that was listed as singles never charted. You know, so they were sent out as singles to like radio stations and that for airplay, but they never charted. So I don't know how much that counts. It's not. I think Van Halen might be because they only had 12 albums or what, but they're just a different band than AC/DC, where AC/DC would record something in 1983 and it stayed in 1983. Like you never heard it again. But like Van Halen, kind of these songs just keep going and going. So it's a little different. It's a little harder, I think, than to find the hidden tracks with Van Halen. So
okay,
I'm
more
lenient on the rules, I guess I'm trying to say, with Van Halen.
In a worst case scenario, Aaron's disqualified.
I wondered about it so much. I did choose 2 other songs.
No, we're not disqualifying you, man. No,
okay,
that's already.
And that is just like Metal Mayhem, awesome. So it had to be there. But if it was a disqualifier in any way, I would accept that.
Oh, interestingly, they played Dirty Movies on one of the reunion era tours. That's cool. I'm glad that they did.
Okay, cool.
My number 5, is my first entry from Different Kind of Truth. And, I wanted to pick She's the Woman because I think it's just a fabulous song, but it was a single. It was the second single from Different Kind of Truth. So I went with another one of my favorites from that album, which is Chinatown.
Oh, not bad.
And one of the reasons I love it is because it's so blazingly fast. Yeah. And this crazy fast intro that sounds like a unison thing with the bass and the guitar. I don't know what it is, but it's brilliant. And honestly, I think Chinatown stands with the best of Van Halen from the 70s. Really do. But big ups to Different Kind of Truth. I'm glad that it's seeing some love tonight.
I loved it this time around.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic.
All right. Am I up now? Am I going now?
Yeah. Sorry, it's all you have reading a comment.
Well, to keep the Different Kind of Truth thing going, I'm going with a song from Different Kind of Truth. I'm with you guys. I didn't really enjoy this album as much when it came out, but then after Eddie passed away, this was one of the ones I grabbed and listened to, and I couldn't stop listening to it. I loved it. But one of the songs I've always loved from this album is Blood and what is it? Blood and Fire. Blood and Fire. I love that song so much. And I wish it got more Traction. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that song? Like, do you guys like it?
One of my favorite things about that song is that David Lee Roth says one of my favorite lines that he says in concert, which is, "Look at all of you people here tonight," and he incorporated that line into the song, and that's just what I remember from all of his concerts. "Oh, look at all of you people here tonight," you know.
Yeah.
And he incorporated that into the lyrics. And
yeah.
I think it's kind of an awkward melody for him to sing, and if I cut that album down to like half the length, it wouldn't make my personal cut for that album, but I got no issues with you picking it. I mean, it's a good song. I think it's a good song.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just, I don't know what it is, but there's something about it that speaks to me. Again, it's another one that like Earth, Wind, and Fire, you know, like it just sticks in my head. And that's why I keep getting the title confused, because he keeps saying Earth, Wind, and Fire when he's talking, and I think that's the name of the song. But anyways. Yeah, I know. I'm all over the place. I'm confused. Anyways, I love that song. And yeah, this album really has grown on me since if Eddie's passing did one good thing, it was to reintroduce me to this album. Like even buying it, I bought this at a flea market for $1, and it's the one that comes with the DVD.
Wow.
2-disc version. I couldn't believe I found it. I'm like, I don't know if I should get this. I don't know if I like this album.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm a cheap bastard, man. It's pretty. Yeah,
I'll give you 50 cents. That's the best I can.
I've seen guys do that. I've seen guys talk down people from $1 to like 25 cents, 27 cents. Not kidding you. Pulls the money out of his pocket. Oh, all I got is 27 cents.
Yeah, that album is worth full price, man.
Well, we take debit.
At a flea market, I don't want to know where you're going to swipe that.
Yeah.
No, thank you. So, am I up here?
5.
Yep. Number 5.
Okay, number 5 is Diver Down, and I had a good time listening to that.
Mm-hmm.
And this song, I think, shows just how fearless they always were in their willingness to just put themselves out there and try new things and do things. And I chose Big Bad Bill is Sweet William Now because it pushes all of my happy jazz buttons. It just took me when I heard it, and I was like, yeah, that's the one. So
the only reason I didn't pick it is because I consider it a hit. But
was it a single?
No, I don't think it was. It's just a personal thing. It was a hit in my family. I'll tell you that. And Harrison would buy that for $1. You're the kind of truth.
I'm not selling it. It's not for sale.
My number 4 is the song that Aaron was just questioning a minute ago, which is House of Pain.
There you go.
Written pre the first album. It was one of those songs that they had sitting around for years, and they finally recorded a final version on 1984. And my list kind of becomes very 1984 heavy from this point forward. But I will hand it over to Kevin.
1984 shadowing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, my favorite album is Women and Children First, and I'm picking a lot from it, but I don't care. Could This Be Magic is my next pick. I love this song. It's just so much fun. I love how the title of the album is how it's incorporated into the song. Mm-hmm. Sail away with someone's daughter. Save the women and children. Children first. It sticks in my head. I don't know. And it's Acoustic Dave. They never played it live either, which is really disappointing. I would have loved to heard them do that live. But anyways, yeah. Again, those little melodies just stick in my head, and that's why it's my number 4.
Harrison's got to say goodbye. Breakfast can't wait forever.
All right.
Nice seeing you, Harrison. Take care, buddy.
If you must eat.
Unfortunately, food calls. But, that's a great pick, Kevin. I'm really glad you picked that one too. It's one of those songs that, for me, when that album came out, it's one of those songs that tweaked me at first listen.
Yeah,
it is different, and it catches your ear immediately.
Yeah, I like it when they do different things like that too.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. All right, over to you.
Yes, I'm up to Fair Warning now.
Yeah.
Fair Warning, and I followed in your shoes, Mike. I took Sinner's Swing.
Nice.
So everything you said. What I wrote was teases a full blowout throughout the verses, and then there's that release for the chorus, and it really Yeah, that's the one that caught me this time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, we're all number 3. So, like I said, we're 1984 heavy. I went with Top Jimmy this time.
Nice.
I had, 1984. It has the 4 singles, the instrumental, and then 4 other songs, basically. And I kind of picked 3 of the 4 other songs. Top Jimmy. It was like trying to pick a favorite child. I don't.
Yeah.
How do you kick one of those other songs off? I had a hard time deciding. Went with Top Jimmy. I seem to be attracted to these fast shuffles.
That's a great song.
They do them well.
Yeah. It's a fun song. It's got fun lyrics,
Well, Tyler, I don't think any of us really want to talk about Alien Ant Farm, but we can certainly maybe do a Metallica deep cuts list.
Sure.
I would be doing a Metallica list. I'm going to Alien Ant Farm, though.
They're the guys who covered the Michael Jackson song, right?
Smooth Criminal, yeah.
Smooth Criminal. That's
not even their song. I couldn't name a song of theirs. Honestly, I don't have the albums, or if they have more than one, I have no idea.
I believe their career was kind of derailed by a bad tour bus accident, if I'm not mistaken. Kind of a tragic thing there.
Well, so was Metallica's there almost. For
That's true too, yeah.
Commonality. Anyway, yeah, so Top Jimmy's my number 3.
Nice.
And
okay, the last time. This is it. This is the last song from this album. I in a simple rhyme. It's like it's a perfect way to end this album. And it's like almost I don't want to say Led Zeppelin-y, but it's almost got I think it's the most Led Zeppelin Van Halen could get. Dave singing is fantastic in it. And Mike's bass is really fun. It's one of those songs where I love those songs where you can just follow the bass and just follow the journey that it can take you through. I like the songs where the whole band just comes together and really gels together. And I feel like that's one of the songs where that happens. Actually, in my top 3, that's where I think they've gelled together the best. And it's one of the top 3. So
here's a good comment here. Could This Be Magic qualifies as a deep cut because it comes across as a studio jam and it highlights the band's harmonies.
Yeah, they're really good harmonies on that.
Disqualify any of you guys. It's just
no, it's all fun.
And Lana votes for a Metallica deep cuts.
Right on.
Put that one in the back pocket for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay, over to you, buddy.
Okay, number 3.
Yeah.
Women and Children First.
Nice.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. And unsurprisingly, I chose a song that Kevin chose because he picked half the album.
Picked the whole album. Yes.
Yeah. I had Could This Be Magic as well.
Nice.
I really like the playfulness with the acoustic guitar, and it's actually just a brilliant blues and everything else that everybody else said about that, including the comments. So
yes.
Yeah.
I was just sitting here nodding because I'm like, yeah, that's on my list. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good point about the harmonies. Like Mike, Eddie, and Dave could really harmonize really well, and same with Sammy. They did have really good harmonies, which a lot of bands can't do.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one reason why I think Michael was missed in that band towards the end.
Absolutely,
sang, but Michael had a really unique voice. And,
the high,
right? He hit those high notes, and that's why I think Chickenfoot sounds more like Van Halen than sometimes Van Halen themselves did, because when you heard those harmonies, it was the Van Halen harmonies. They were still there. Having said that, I didn't pick any Chickenfoot for this list. That would have been disrespectful. Instead, for my number 2, I picked Drop Dead Legs from 1984, which at this point, I can't remember if anybody else picked it.
Nope. You're the first.
Also rants.
It's such a great song, and it's got the harmonies that you guys are talking about. You can hear Eddie and Michael just blending perfectly in that one. I love Drop Dead Legs. I believe it's a side 1 closer. If I'm not mistaken, it's the side 1 closer on 1984, and it has this kind of long jam out section.
Yeah,
I love it.
Awesome. Yeah,
love it.
You're not wrong.
Okay, Kevin, over to you.
Okay, so my number 2. We're at number 2, right?
We're at number 2.
Okay, I like when Van Halen does it, mixes it up a little different. And what I like about this song too, there's so many people out there that will say that Van Halen's rhythm section is boring.
No.
Because they do the same thing every time, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, you listen to Hot for Teacher, and how can you say they're boring? But this is one where they go all out. So it's from Fair Warning, and I picked Push Comes to Shove.
Yeah.
It is a great example. It's a great example of the rhythm section doing something different. Killer solo from Eddie Van Halen. And the song is like a mix of reggae and disco pop.
Yep.
And anyone who says that I'm with you on Michael Anthony's bass solos, like during the live shows, those are boring. I get you, but this is like some of his best bass playing. I maybe even Eddie played bass for him. I don't know. It's so good. It's really good. It's one of those ones that was really fun to follow, and that's why it's my number 2.
I really love that song. Really love that song. So I back your number 2. 100%.
All right, you're backing my number 2. Nice.
And trying to worm my way back out of it sounded awesome. I don't know. Like everything you said about it is true. I hear like a lot of that kind of disco kind of beat to it, and it just sounds really slinky, slinky to me.
Yeah. Well, it's that he's got like a reggae thing going with the rhythm, you know, and it's not apparent. It's not like in your face, you know. You got to be listening for it. It's like, oh yeah, there's some reggae happening in there, you know.
Yeah, I hear a bit of that.
Yeah.
It's not overt.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Aaron.
Yeah.
It's up to you, bud.
Just for confirmation, Drop Dead Legs is side 1 ending track.
Okay.
And that jam out section's almost like could be from a completely different song.
Yeah.
Because he goes into a brand new riff basically at the end.
Yeah. So my number 2 is from Van Halen 2. I chose Somebody Get Me a Doctor.
Thanks.
Because of that scream at the start. And it's just a perfect, like when you think of David Lee Roth, it's that kind of thing, you know. Great song. I liked it. So
yeah.
That song got a huge chuckle out of Sarah when I was playing it while we were doing a jigsaw puzzle. That song came on and she just started laughing. Somebody just how the background singers were coming back with the "Somebody Get Me a Doctor."
Get me a doctor.
Yeah. I applaud your ability to do jigsaw puzzles. I applaud your patience.
Oh, hey, I got a whole method. I can take you through it. I'll walk you through it one day.
I don't touch them.
Oh, they're good times. They're good for listening to music too. You put the music on.
That's actually true.
Yeah,
that is actually true.
Oh. Okay, Mike, you're number 1. You're number 1.
I can't believe we're at the number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah, you're number 1.
Well, you got here anyway.
I'm actually surprised nobody's picked this song. How come none of you picked Secrets? No? I'm the only one who loves Secrets? I guess I'm the only man. I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, it's not on No, it's on my list. It's on my Diver Down list. Yep.
Oh, you did?
Well, I didn't pick it.
Oh, it was a runner-up.
It was a runner-up. Yeah.
Well, I picked Secrets because it's different. And God, it's got that neat little laid back groove. Not that, you know, your picks of little guitars and Full Bug, you know, these are great songs. But for me, when I looked at that album and I narrowed it down, I had to go with Secrets. It's just got that groove, that really slow nocturnal groove. It's brilliant. Anyway. I feel so deflated now.
No, it just means you're special.
I'm special. That was my number 1, people. Secrets. I love that song.
Interesting.
Okay, Kevin. Top that.
Well, I think I can actually. I think I can top it because I cheated a little bit for my number 1, just slightly, just a slight cheat. And my number 1 is from Diver Down. And there isn't too many songs left on Diver Down that hasn't been mentioned already. But I went with the twofer. I picked 2 songs as my number 1. but because together they do make one song, and that is Cathedral / Secrets.
Yeah.
Because to me, you can't listen to Secrets
I'm adding Cathedral to mine.
Why not?
It's
like the intro to Secrets.
I didn't think Secrets needed an intro to be my number one, but now that I realize that other people have done this with like little guitars,
why not?
I'm doing it too.
Why not? Well, Cathedral is such an inch. Like it's like I think we mentioned it when we were talking about when we did the last Eddie Van Halen show, and like how it's very Tom Morello-esque. Like Tom Morello, the guitar player for Rage Against the Machine, puts all these like little hip hop noises and everything that he does with the guitar, you know. Yeah. And here's Eddie Van Halen doing something very similar. It's not hip hop, but he's messing around with the guitar, and he's basically like turning the volume pot up and down while he's doing playing the notes with his one hand. Like his other hand is not strumming. And if you listen to that song with the headphones on, you can hear him like moving the pot up and down, like the hum of the pot going up and down.
Yep.
And I just think it bleeds in perfectly into Secrets, which is Secrets is a great song, and I don't know why it wasn't a bigger song. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to like.
Yeah.
I wanted to mess with you a little bit.
You didn't want me to steal your thunder the way that Derek stole mine, I guess.
Yeah.
But
anyway, that song's got like a great set. It's like almost like a 70s pop song. I'm almost hesitant to say Steely Dan, but it's just a little hint of Steely Dan in it, and it came out in the 80s. But whatever, I think it should have been a big hit. I think it's a terrific song. I don't know why it doesn't get any play, but anyways,
Chris,
hey man, if you're up for some puzzles live streaming,
wow, he must be really really bored.
That could be fun to do if you put the camera down onto the puzzle, and yeah.
I've been thinking about this comment here. Top Jimmy is Van Halen's version of Johnny Blade by Black Sabbath, but not in terms of tempo. And I don't agree.
I don't know if I see that one either, but they both have guys with the name Johnny and Jimmy.
They both have kind of like similar. I don't know. They do have a certain je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, sure.
That's all I can say about that.
Yeah.
Well, Aaron, I guess you're responsible for wrapping this up in a little bow.
I'm so sorry for your luck. My number one, because I'm going in reverse chronological order, is, of course, from the self-titled debut album. And it was Ice Cream Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good one. Good one.
I don't know if anybody else picked that. I don't remember.
No, I don't think so.
Nobody did.
So then I have something to say about that, because we know Ice Cream Man, right? It's got that acoustic intro, and then it just swings.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's like that. I just, and it's the same as Big Bad Bill, where I have happy jazz buttons, and when they get pushed by you don't expect it from, I get really happy about that. So that's why I picked that one. But I just want to say, because I got a quick rundown of the first half of Meat's list, and I heard the rest of it, and then I've heard your guys' list as well. And I got to say, the number of songs that were differing. I think really speaks to just how incredible this band is. And that really they are the ultimate sort of full album experience. You've got to play the whole thing. You don't just go for the hits. You got to play the whole album with Van Halen, because there's so much goodness that you're missing if you don't.
Yeah. You can't just buy the best of.
No, never did.
Interestingly enough, Derek picked one of those songs from one of those best ofs. You know how they always recorded a new song for the best ofs. Derek picked one of those as one of his cuts.
Magic, was it?
No, that was a single actually, but he picked Learning to See from the Best of Both Worlds, which is actually a song that I quite personally don't like. But we had some really good variety here.
Yeah.
Like, we saw all three singers. We saw every album.
Yeah.
I love all these lists, and I just want to read a comment here that somebody was not brave enough to comment on screen. Anonymous comment from Chris Sarr. Just listen to Secrets for the first time. Yikes. And then a kind of like a one of these icons. So, Chris, thanks a lot for that.
Sheku Asongu.
Scott Peddle says hi to Kevin.
Oh, he remembers me this time.
He remembers him this time.
That's awesome. No, I think this is a really diverse list. I mean,
yeah.
And I think it also shows because we had the fast, heavy songs and we had the swing and jazz songs and we had the like a little bit of everything, right? Like the bluesier songs and the rock songs too. And it just shows you how widely that band went afield.
Funny enough, I think you guys went a little bit more Hagar than I did. Maybe not Kevin, but
no, I only had one Hagar on, and that's not to say like I love the Sammy Hagar stuff. You know, I just it doesn't top those David Lee Roth songs for me.
And I had two songs from Balance, but nothing from 5150, OU812, or Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. So that's just kind of interesting to go over this in hindsight. Yeah. I kind of wish we had Jeff Steven here tonight, but I think I asked him too late. He was busy. Yeah. He said that if anybody wanted to keep track of these songs and email them to him, he'd be happy to make some graphs later on. So maybe that might be something I'll consider. Although usually after these shows, I tend to just kind of, consider it the past and move on to the next thing. And I have one coming up tomorrow, as you are well aware. We're doing the Halloween show at 7:00 tomorrow night, where I will be not looking the same as I am right now because it is Halloween. Yeah,
I'll have to miss that one.
That's fine.
I won't be here.
That's fine.
I will watch.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Dr. Catherine has promised to make an appearance for that one, so I'm looking forward to Dr. Catherine's cameo. And cool. Tyler, tomorrow we'll be doing the Halloween show, so
there you go.
Join me, won't you? Oh, interestingly, nobody picked Atomic Punk. A bit of an oddity off the first album, very aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't mention I intentionally did not pick anything from Van Halen 1.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, again, like Back in Black or Highway to Hell, I feel like that's an album that almost everyone has. Like, even if you're just a casual fan, you have that one and you know those songs better than,
That's how I feel about it too, is that anybody who has a minimal Van Halen collection already owns the first album and owns 1984. Having said that, I ended up putting 3 1984 songs on my list.
I don't know if that many people have 1984 as they do Van Halen 1, because I just know from my friends, like they would be more into that because that's like the more rock. Whereas when people think of 1984, all they think of is Jump, and they don't really either know or think of those other tracks. So I think you did a good job picking those deeper track cuts from that album, because I think those are better, even though Jump is a fantastic song. Yeah. I mean, I don't care what anyone says. I know it's a pop song, but it is fantastic. I mean, you go on YouTube and watch people play accordion versions of Jump. It's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's flawless. And then there was that version by, the name is escaping me, but it was that bluegrass version that Roth sang on. And I can't remember the artist anymore. I just remember that the Roth did guest vocals on it. I'm still looking at my folder here.
It wasn't Hasty Dixie?
No, it wasn't. Give me a second here. I can't remember if I put it in my David Lee Roth folder or a various artists folder. It's going to take a second. Strumming with the Devil was
right. Yeah, there it is right there.
Johnny Jorgensen Bluegrass Band.
Yeah.
And Roth sang on Jump and Jamie's Crying.
Nice.
Yeah, I bought this just because I was why not, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I'll get to it in my list probably 2 years from now, because it can take me forever to get through all of these albums. I'm only on B and I've been going since June? Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say something else and I completely forgot. So keep talking. I'll think of it.
Okay, well, Scott Peddles asks if anybody had Out of Love, and
don't think so.
Out of Love.
No.
Out of Love was my number 15.
There you go. Well, if anybody would have picked Out of Love, because that's his favorite album, Van Halen too, but he did not. See, we could have done 22. We could have done a whole lot of things.
Summer Nights, I think that's another good one. That's a little different. It's a little.
Verge is on a hit. it just verges.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when I heard that album, I'm like, oh, well, Summer Nights, it should obviously be a hit.
And even Light Up the Sky, like that was like my number, like when I first, like my first draft, that was my number 2. But that song has just been played. Like they opened up all their 2014 shows with that song, you know. So I don't know if that counts as a hit or not. I don't know.
It's always tough when you have a band with a career like Van Halen. You can't necessarily just say the singles are the hits, because certain songs that tend to have a life beyond that. Yeah. And, you know, like you said, the 2014 tour, I guess it was. I think Wolfie and Dave pretty much curated their set lists. And a lot of those songs were immortalized once again.
Yeah.
And kind of reintroduced. It's a real shame that we don't get any more tours. It's just, I'm kind of bummed right now about that. But
yeah,
at least they did the proper, I'm going to say proper reunion with David Lee Roth, because it might not have been the entire original band, but it was still done right. And at least we got those tours, and at least we got finally the closure that we needed. But it's a real shame.
Deke says, like, the real star of that tour, that last band's tour, was the set list. Mm-hmm. Like the songs that they chose to play were like, yeah, those are all the songs that you would want them to hear. You'd want to hear from them, you know?
Yeah. They did grant those wishes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lana has a question for probably all of us here. How does anyone have the money to collect so many albums and vinyls? My parents don't want me to spend too much money on albums, but it's fun collecting them. Lana, that's because we're old farts and we've been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
36 years here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I go to a lot of thrift shops. Like I said, like, you know, Different Kind of Truth was $1. I did not go buy it when it was new because Tattoo didn't really speak to me, you know? So like that's how you accumulate all this crap. And my Nona used to get mad at me all the time when I was a kid. Like, you can't eat CDs. That's what she used to tell me all the time. You know, like when I was buying these Van Halen CDs, like I had zero money when I was buying like these guys. I remember going down to Toronto. I was supposed to be looking for a job. I would go and I would hand out a few resumes and that, but you know, after a couple hours of that, maybe head over to Sam the Record Man. See, and that's where I found, like, you know, Fair Warning. Like, this was not at Sam the Record Man in the Sudbury Shopping Center. You know, it was in Toronto, and so, you know, kind of picked that up. And that was 25 years ago, and I still have it. So, you know, it takes a long time, you know, and you know, if you know where to look. You go to thrift stores and whatnot. I don't know what they're like in Hawaii, but
well, Mike will tell you that I am the king of the bargain bins.
Yeah, I've seen your pickup videos with Mike.
Oh, man, and my job up until March of this year was in a thrift store, and my job was sorting the books, movies, and music. So nice. I personally handled everything that went out to the floor for sale. So I knew what was there, and I would just sort of keep a mental note. Now, we had a rule that 48 hours.
Right.
When it goes to the floor, you got to wait 48 hours before you can buy it. But if it was still there, my staff discount in a thrift store, I would need a second house if I bought everything I saw that caught my eye.
Wow.
Very easy to build up that way. But yeah, 36 years. I bought ZZ Top's Eliminator on cassette in Orlando, Florida, on a family trip to Disney in December of 1984. It was the first album I bought with my own money, 1984. So that was 36 years ago.
Mm.
Rob seconds your praise of the thrift stores, and he knows from buying obscure soundtracks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Rob, if there's anything you're ever looking for, let me know, because I see soundtracks all the time. So, and I'm sure you've got many, but if there's any that are like, man, you know, left field, if you ever found that, you know, I don't pay much for them. So
I will say this regarding collecting, and it takes time, especially if you're trying to watch your dollars and cents, but start with some essentials. is what I would suggest. Start with some essentials. Stuff like these first early Van Halen albums. See what you like. Pick and choose from there. So, if you bought, for example, Van Halen 1, which is an album that we've all praised, I think that you're going to like Van Halen 2 as well. But take your time. Wait until you find Van Halen 1 used at a CD store for like $4 or whatever. Don't go to your local Walmart store and buy a sealed copy just because it's in stock. Take your time. The albums are not going anywhere. They're there for us forever, which is great.
Can I make a suggestion too?
Yeah.
To further that point, is when you are in a thrift store and you do find a bunch, if you're just starting out or you don't have very many, buy one that you think you're going to like Van Halen 1, and play the hell out of it. Right? Play the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Really immerse yourself. Don't just give it one spin and then say, oh, what can I buy next? Live with that album for a while. Play the whole thing. And then go forward. 100%. It isn't necessarily about quantity, it's about quality, and you learn about what you want to hear by what you're buying and bringing home and listening to and living with it.
You gain an appreciation for it too by like that's why I love these ones so much, because this was like all I had. I had these, that was it, that was all I bought for the summer, was these 3 albums in 1997 or whatever it was, because that's all the money I had, right? And you just would listen to them over and over and over again, and you get a real connection with those albums. You'll connect more with those albums than you will connect with anything else you hear for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
I agree.
And you know what? You know where performatively, where that comes from? Because I think all 3 of us are sort of an age here, roughly, and I would say, unless Kevin is super young, I can't tell.
I am. I'm very young.
Yes,
I am.
Yeah.
You might be the stealth one here, but no, we all remember Columbia Tape Club.
Oh yes,
that was the genesis of a lot of my stuff.
Exactly, and you would get what, 10 tapes?
Yeah.
And then if you bought one, you got 2 more free or whatever.
Yeah. You ended up with like 13 in your first box.
Okay, so those first tapes were like water in a desert. They were an oasis in a desert, and you played those so many times, right? Flipping the tape over and playing side B and living with those. Because that's for us, I think, where maybe that feel comes from.
Well, maybe I am a little younger, because they were CDs for me.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it was tapes.
Tapes when I started.
I still have. I got one right here. Columbia. Oh, no, is it Columbia House or?
Yeah, Columbia House. Yeah.
Yeah, I still got my ZZ Top greatest hits.
I had that too.
Yeah, I got mine on tape from Columbia House, but yeah, I had.
And I remember it was like 1995 or whatever. But like my roommate in college next door to me was playing that Smashing Pumpkins album, the double Melancholy or something.
And the Infinite Sadness.
Yeah, he would play that over and over again. And there I was playing. I was listening. Keep my head in Mississippi. That's just where I was at.
You can't go wrong.
No.
Unfortunately, there aren't many record stores in Hawaii. There are a few in town, but you can't drive yet. That's unfortunate. Albums are not too popular nowadays. My Walmart doesn't have CDs anymore.
Whoa.
But she's taking notes as she listens.
Okay.
She has about 5 AC/DC albums, which is awesome.
Awesome.
And she wants to see how the new albums sounds first before she buys it, which is wise.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the other thing too, man. Like these were blind buys too. Yeah. Like I was not sure what the heck I was going to get with them. I had Van Halen 1. I had 1984. Had an idea that I would like these albums. But yeah, you just go in and you blind purchase it and hope that when you got it home. And there was a lot of stuff that's gone now because I bought it thinking I'd like it and I did not like it. But now with streaming, absolutely stream stuff, man. It's like streaming to your heart's content and find the stuff that you really like. And when you really like it, then go and buy it.
Yeah.
Support the band. Yep.
Yeah.
I was gonna make the streaming point now, because if you're out there, clearly you have internet. Apple Music or Spotify or wherever you want, YouTube even, wherever you want full albums on YouTube. Just go listen to stuff. Put the good headphones on. and just listen and let it get into you and see if it really speaks to you or not. And then you know which direction you want to go. Unless you're like me and you go in every direction all at once like a puppy.
Yeah.
Right?
But wait, to discover new music in that too, like these guys' blogs are awesome for that. You know, I've you know, caught on to so many bands and stuff like that. Like I got Stormforce coming to my house because you know, Mike did that one last post and I was like, that's the song that's got me on board. And, you know, so I went and I bought it. And that's how you discover music. Even go on YouTube, that Sea of Tranquility guy. I can't remember his name, but anyways, that's a good YouTube channel. He talks a lot about prog rock and stuff. You know, it's really like people talking about albums that will really get you into new stuff, and you'll find out what you like from that. Just don't listen to their Kiss stuff. That's actually, she already did, right? John already sucked her into the Kiss. So
yeah, no, that I would add to that I know on keepsmealive.com, shameless self,
yes,
WordPress.com, and I know all you other guys too. On the sidebar, there's links to all the other blogs of all the people, and what I like to shout is community, right? And we try to keep those people together, and we're generally good souls, and we have good discourse about music back and forth all the time. So if there's, you know, the search bar on any of those sites, if there's anything you're curious about, you're bound to find something.
One thing I wanted to say to Lana is if you go, I guess you'd have to go on my site, but if you want to see some cool stuff, search for Mike and Aaron Go to Toronto. Maybe 6 or 7 or 8 times. There's plenty of videos, and that's what we were kind of alluding to earlier with when Kevin mentioned that is us just going to Toronto, going record shopping.
God, I missed that.
Whole bunch of videos. Enjoy. And Rob Daniels has some good comments here. There's a store called Thrift on Kent in Kitchener. Black Friday on Kent was legendary, 30+ soundtracks, 50 cents to $2 each.
Wow.
That's not bad.
Holy smokes.
And blind buys can be awesome. Okay. Yeah.
Do you remember? Oh, go ahead.
And I guess that's a positive with Spotify. You get to see which music and songs you really like. Yes. And then
Absolutely.
if you buy the album afterwards, then at least you get the satisfaction of doing something a little bit more to help the artist. Because as Steph said on last week's show, these guys really don't make anything off Spotify or YouTube. The streaming is a dead end for these guys to make a career out of it. So you're not necessarily in a position to be, I'm charity case for every artist in the world, but you know, if and when you can, it's always nice to buy a CD direct from the artist. It's something I try to do when I can.
I find you have a better connection with the music as well when, even if you're taking the CD and ripping it to the hard drive or whatever, and you're just looking at the CD or the vinyl record or whatever, you're just sitting there and listening to an entire album and not just like bits and pieces and whatever, you know, just you get this real connection with the music that I can't explain what it is. You know, it just, I don't know why it makes it better. It just does.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think I need to eat some supper.
We talked enough.
Every Friday night, it's like 9:00 at night, and you're like, I should eat something.
I have a large. I always plan it so that I don't have to eat beforehand because I don't want to be sitting here digesting my food during the show. So I have a late lunch or a large lunch, one of the two, and it keeps me going till around 9. But now I'm feeling the
need. Makes me wish that we were like snakes, where we could just eat once a week, just overeat once a week, and then you just digest that for a week.
Did you imagine a nap after that meal?
Snakes do get logy after they eat. That's true.
They do.
Yeah.
Some serious parts in my wife's car.
I did,
Mike.
I did do that once on film.
Oh, now both of you have a mission this week. Go out and buy a heavy bag. Spend about a half an hour every day. Just stay in motion, man. Stay in motion.
Where did you get your heavy bag?
We bought the stand at Walmart and the bag at Canadian Tire.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not buying the heavy bag, but I will do my best to stay in motion because I got a show to do tomorrow. So I got to stay. I got to keep my energy going. I can't just say, well, that's it. I'm checking out for the weekend. I got to keep pumping it up for tomorrow night.
There you go.
Which I hope is not a 2.5 hour long show like this one, but hopefully it'll be a decent one.
Only 2 hours and 20 minutes. We're just getting started, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, except for the fact that I need to gas up. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Aaron and I could take over for a bit. We can talk some more about
I'll probably
COVID. We could talk about what were we talking about? Health, not drinking caffeine.
We're talking
about a whole thing right now.
Yeah.
I don't. I put that post up, but I don't bore people with it too much. I'm just trying to. I'm 46, and I'm not 20 anymore, and so I don't have that metabolism anymore. And so the mission here is to try to. I don't like to say that I'm trying to lose weight because if it's lost, it means you could find it again.
All right.
I'm trying to shed.
Right. Shed the pounds. That's good.
Londa's going to check out the Toronto videos. Yes, do that. And yes, I will. Thank you for reminding me. We were talking about the Def Leppard album earlier that I got a thank you on. So
I apologize in advance for all my appearances in those videos.
Yes. Oh my God. We had some good times though. We did have some good times. But that's it for me tonight, boys. I really appreciate your participation, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you in the coming weeks. And Kevin, you'll be looking at me tomorrow, I hope. But
yeah, I'll definitely. You're going to be on at
7 o'clock tomorrow night.
7 o'clock. Yeah,
I know what it was. Remember when I said I was going to say something?
Yeah,
I know what it was.
Yeah,
you were talking about the deep cuts here, and how you could have had 22 songs or whatever.
Yeah.
I would say maybe we should have done this in 2 installments. One was DLR and one was Sammy.
Whoa!
Damn it!
Right? That would have been a good idea.
Forced us to pick, but maybe that could be something for the Metallica, right? Like the first albums and then everything after Black or something, or pick 2 periods or something. Right?
I would be into like a dividing line between, say, Justice and Black, dividing the career into those 2 halves, maybe. But that's something that we can discuss at a later time.
There's more albums in the second half, which would make it harder.
But the earlier albums are more packed densely with classics, I believe.
Yeah.
But we can discuss. We can discuss this at a later time.
Yep.
All right. Well, you guys have a wonderful night. Oh, you know what? And also, anybody who here has Disney Plus, I'm also going to immediately go and watch The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 1. So
good luck.
That starts
yet.
Well, you need Disney Plus to do that, but that's what I'm going to be doing while I eat my supper. So,
all right. Thanks for having me on, Mike. It's a lot of fun.
This is the way I have spoken. Have a great night.
Have a good weekend.
Ciao.
Bye.